Hello, you've clicked on this because you want to find out a bit about VLOOKUP. Basically, VLOOKUP allows Excel to do what we do whenever we want to find someone's phone number from a phone list. We look up the name from one column and then we read across and find the phone number in another column. The V in VLOOKUP stands for vertical, so you would use a VLOOKUP whenever you want to look something up in a vertical list, like this one. Let me show you how it works. We've got a list of names here, and I've already put a formula in this cell. You can see the formula up here in the formula bar. I'll explain what all the different parts mean in a moment. When I type a name in here, in A1, the formula finds that name in the list and gives me back the person's extension number. Here, I'll type someone else's name in. So how does it work? Well, the first bit of information or argument that the formula needs is what it's going to look up in the list. So we're typing the name here in A1, so it's going to look up that value that I've put in A1 in the list. Next, it needs to know where that list is. Now I've referred to the range E2 to K30 because that's where my list of names and numbers are. You should be aware that the VLOOKUP can only find something in the first column of the list that you put in here. So sometimes you have to only point it at a few of the columns in your data, like I have. I've missed the employee number off. Or occasionally you have to rearrange the order of the columns in order to get it to work. So, the VLOOKUP finds your value in the first column. Then it has to know which column contains the information you want to get back. You should be aware that this isn't the normal column letter, like A or E. Instead it's a number, and you start counting at the first column of the list you've just given it. So for us, this column here is column 1, because it's the first column in the list that we've put in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to return the information from column number 7. So I've put a 7 in here. And then finally, what kind of VLOOKUP are we going to do? Well, there are two varieties. One looks up a precise value in a list. This is what we're doing today. The other works out which range of values something falls in, like working out your tax bracket from your salary. If you want to find an exact name or number, you put in a 0 or false. Otherwise, for a range type argument, you put in a 1 or the word true in here. So I've put in 0. Now, if I want to build this from scratch, just delete the value that's in there. First thing you do is you click, like all functions, you click in the cell where you want the result, in this case the phone number, to be displayed. And you click this function builder button in the formula bar. The function builder allows me to choose a function from any of Excel's function categories. VLOOKUP may be here in the most recently used list, but only if you've used it recently. If this is the first time you've used VLOOKUP, you'll need to go to the Lookup and Reference category, and you'll need to scroll right the way to the bottom because it's an alphabetical list, so VLOOKUP is right at the bottom of the list. Now you've found the function, click OK, and you're presented with the 4 bits of information that you need to give it. So, the lookup value. This is the value the function is going to find or look up. I'm going to click A1 because that's where we're typing the name that we want to find the number for. Secondly, the table array. This is the table or array of data where we will look for the name and find the number that we want. So I'm going to start in the column where it will find that name, and I'm going to highlight right the way across to the number and down to the bottom of the list. Column index number. Remember, this is a number. and that you start counting in the first column of your list, the one you've just highlighted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is our column index number. So I'm just going to type a 7 in there. And finally, range lookup. I'm going to put a 0. You can also use the word false in here to tell it that you want an exact match, not a range match. And then you click OK, and it returns the person's extension number. So that's VLOOKUP. Whenever I type a name in here, when you press enter, it finds that person's extension number from the list.